Good morning and welcome. My name's Rachel Browner. I am with our OneOp Lifespan Caregiving Group. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's session on Rooted in Resilience, Cultivating Well-Being in Individuals with Disabilities. In case you're joining us for the first time, I'd like to give you just a brief tour of our webinar platform so you can find your way around. Hopefully you're currently able to view the slides we're sharing. If you're unable to see them or if you have any other difficulties, please email us at contact@oneop.org for tech support. And if you can at this time, I would love to see who is joining us. And so if you can utilize that chat now, go ahead and practice typing in there. Let us know where you're joining us from. Maybe if there's more than one of you, maybe what organization you're with or state that you're in. We always like to make this a little bit more personable. Kaylin, welcome from Tallahassee, Florida. We see some folks from AgriLife and EFMP. Oh, I love seeing people from Extension as well in Illinois. So welcome. This makes this a little bit more personable and for us to get to know you a little bit better from where you're joining us from. All right, so thank you again as we continue our partnership with the Department of Defense and the U.S. Department of Agriculture to expand the readiness, knowledge, and networks of the professionals supporting our military service members and their families. I'd like to go ahead at this time and introduce our presenter for today. I'm excited to have Dr. Jade Wu joining us. Dr. Wu holds the position of Assistant Professor and Extension Specialist at Texas A&M University. Dr. Wu brings a wealth of expertise in research, teaching, and extension across the interdisciplinary spectrum of science, art, business, technology, and human aspects in horticulture. Currently, her projects focus on people-plant interactions and health and well-being benefits of plants. And having earned her doctoral degree in 2020, Dr. Wu embarked on a groundbreaking initiative by co-founding the Horticultural Options in Plant Sciences, or HOPS program. It's a visionary post-secondary certification program, and it's dedicated to equipping young adults with disabilities with essential skills and experiences, fostering work resilience, and facilitating a seamless transition into competitive integrated employment within the horticulture industry. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and turn the presenter reins over to Dr. Wu.
Thank you, Rachel, for the nice introduction. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep, you sound great, Dr. Wu.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So excited to be here, seeing people from everywhere in the country joining us. Thank you for giving us your time and attention as we continue to explore the benefits of connecting with nature for our health and well-being. Today, we will embark on a journey into therapeutic horticulture and the transformative world of gardens, exploring the profound impact these green spaces have on human health and well-being, especially for those with disabilities. This is the outline of the core pillars of our discussion today. We will begin with the background information on when using gardens for healing started and the development of this field over time. We will then talk about various therapeutic benefits of gardens and explore sensory garden and sensory plants, discussing how garden spaces can appeal to the five senses, offering a unique and immersive experience that can be particularly beneficial for individuals with disabilities. In this section on accessible garden design considerations, we will cover practical design strategies that ensure gardens are welcoming and accessible. And finally, we will discuss initiating and managing community garden projects, provide a actionable insight into creating a garden project that not only blossoms, but also thrives through community involvement and sustainable practices. Each of the session is designed to give you a deep understanding and practical advice. So by the end of this webinar, you will be equipped with the knowledge to cultivate and nurture therapeutic gardens that can make a real difference in your community. A little bit background information. Our journey through history shows us that the cultivation of gardens to please the senses, lift spirits, and enhance well-being trace back to ancient times. In fast forward to 19th century, Dr. Benjamin Rush, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, also known for his major role in the development of American psychiatry, wrote that digging in a garden was one of the activities that distinguished patients who recover from mental illness from those who didn't. This insight paved the way for incorporating plant-based activities into therapeutic practices from the 1940s onwards. In the 1970s, university-level training in horticultural therapy emerged, and the number of such programs is increasing. Before we talk about the benefits of gardens, I would like to ask you this question. What draws you to a garden? If you could put your answer in the chat, really simple, just a couple words. I'm curious to know if you'd like to visit a garden and why. Peace, grounding. Thank you. Peace in connecting with nature, serenity. The beauty, yes, full of life. Colorful, calm, scent, natural beauty, various colors, exploration. Wow, being able to get lost. Yes. Color, excitement, color, nature. Food. Yes, there's some plants we can sample for sure. It's always fun to taste those peaches and berries. Solitude. Yeah, some alone time. Peace and tranquility. Sorry. Exercise. Yeah, you can have physical activity in the gardens too. Thank you all for sharing. Okay, let's look at the documented therapeutic benefits of gardens based on research. Gardens are more than beautiful spaces. They are a channel that leads to healing. Engaging in activities in the garden provide a profound impact on our human health and well-being, including promoting physical activities and motor skills development, emotional and psychological well-being, cognitive skills, social interaction, sensory stimulation, and a sense of accomplishment and purpose. By understanding and harnessing the power of the garden's therapeutic properties, we can cultivate environments that nurture resilience, empower individuals, and enrich lives. Sensory gardens, they are purposefully designed spaces to engage and stimulate multiple senses to provide therapeutic and enjoyable experiences. As they harmonize senses to awaken the full spectrum of human perception, sensory gardens are particularly beneficial for individuals with disabilities. They serve as tranquil havens where individuals can explore, engage, and connect with nature in a way that caters to their unique sensory needs. How about sensory plants? They are the plants selected for inclusion in the garden, chosen for their ability to stimulate our senses and evoke positive sensory experiences. Here we have some examples for each sense. Sight, vibrant flowers such as roses, sunflowers, irises, lots of flowers, beautiful colors. Colorful foliage plants like coleus, croton, begonia, ornamental grasses, and also maiden grasses, fountain grasses, and feather reed grasses. For smell, fragrant flowers like lavender, jasmine, gardenia, lilac, peonies, aromatic herbs. We are very familiar with this. Rosemary, mint, and basil smell really good. For touch, we have plants with interesting contrasting textures, such as lampshire, and ornamental grasses also have a nice texture for touch, and as well as succulents. Leaves, barks can also provide tactile stimulation. For taste, edible plants like strawberries, tomatoes, herbs, plants that visitors can sample in the garden. And last but not least, sound, plants that make sound in the wind, rustle in the wind, such as bamboo and ornamental grasses. In the next part of our discussion today, we will explore how to design a garden that not only accommodates all abilities, but fostering interaction with the natural world. Another question to you, I'm curious to know if there's any, what barriers prevent you from fully enjoying or engaging in the garden? Feel free to put in the chat box if you would like to share. Thank you. Yes. Mosquitoes, back pain, yeah. Location, if it's too far. Bugs, snakes. Bugs, reptiles, mobility issues, definitely. Lack of knowledge, procrastination. But you want to go, you just have to find time to go, right? Weeds, yeah, that can be a pain. Cost, okay. When it rains a lot, access to land. Yes. Thank you all for sharing your experience. Okay, let's delve into considerations, garden design considerations, and understand how we can make gardens safe, welcoming, and inclusive. The design of a garden is a carefully crafted tapestry of intent and purpose, weaving together aesthetics, functionality, and the needs of its visitors. Let's break down these considerations into three fundamental elements that transform a garden into a sanctuary for everyone. First, accessibility. Accessibility is where design meets empathy. An accessible garden invites people of all abilities to connect with nature. Then we consider therapeutic features that are the heartbeat of the healing garden. These features are purposefully integrated to provide not just physical benefits, but also mental, cognitive, and social support. Lastly, we strive to create safe and welcoming environment. We aim for warmth and invitation where each visitor feels the garden is a place meant for them. Let's look at how we can ensure our gardens are accessible, welcoming to all, and regardless of physical capabilities. Pathways are arteries of our garden, very essential for navigation and exploration. It is very important that the pathways in the garden are wide, smooth, clear of any obstacles to accommodate wheelchairs and walkers. Non-slip surfaces and handrails, those provide stability and the confidence in every step we take in the garden. Raised beds, they transform gardening from a task into a pleasure for those with mobility challenges. designing the wrist beds with accommodating wheelchair or walker users in mind provides good height and ease of reach, inviting individuals to tend to the plants without the strain of bending or kneeling. Seating areas are also important component. They are not just resting points. They serve as invitation for you to pause, to reflect, and connect with nature. They should be positioned through the garden, cater to the needs of those who might require frequent breaks or simply wish to sit down and absorb the beauty around them. Shade and shelter provides individuals protect individuals from harsh weather or sun, and can be a good transition from indoor to outdoor. Lastly, adaptive tools and equipment. They play a very crucial role in making gardens accessible to individuals with disabilities. And these specialized tools are designed to accommodate a wide range of physical, sensory, and cognitive needs, allowing individuals to participate in gardening activities with greater ease and independence. Tools designed with ergonomics in mind, with padded grips, lightweight materials can minimize the strain on joints and muscles, making gardening an activity that everyone can enjoy, regardless of their physical strength. Here we have a few examples of adaptive gardening tools. In the top left picture, we see the residents in Texas using rakes with red handles specifically designed to extend reach. Below, we see a groundbreaking tool here from Texas Assistive Devices. It's a prosthesis compatible hoe, provide individuals with limb differences the ability to engage in gardening with greater autonomy and effectiveness. This picture in the middle displays ergonomic hand tools, minimize hand and wrist stress. This watering can here, beautiful color, and has a good grasp handle. It's lightweight with a very balanced shape, as you can see. It can be very helpful for people who have limited strength. And then this picture here in the middle on the second row, it has a adaptive soft touch, a pruning snip. It requires minimum pressure to use, good for those with arthritis or limited hand strength too. And last one, we have this Corona clipper with reciprocating handles, showing how leverage can be used to make cutting easier. So reduce the physical exertion required for pruning tasks.
Dr. Liu, when you think about these different equipment for individuals' disabilities, is it hard to be able to access these types of tools, or where can an agency or organization or even individuals go out and find these tools? Are they easily accessible, or is that something that you have to go and search for?
Good question. Thank you, Rachel, for asking. As you can see from the source of the picture, Texas Assistive Technologies. We purchase assistive technologies for individuals from, say, a expo at a conference, and organizations like this. I believe in each state there's organizations helping individuals with disabilities can provide tools like this. I'm not sure if they can be purchased through the store that we normally purchase tool with. I haven't seen any, but it's a good question. I'll look into it more and share with you if I find out. I think there are organizations that helping in this effort specifically.
Well, in Mackenzie Thomas posted, you can reach out to your state's agribility projects if you're interested in assistive technology for gardening or farmers and ranchers. So thank you, Mackenzie, for posting that.
Yeah, thank you, Mackenzie. Glad you're here. All right, local co-ops. Thank you. Thank you for the information. Okay, so this is a great resource that I came across the other day. It is a checklist of adaptive gardening tools, and this checklist or this article about this is on American Horticultural Therapy Association's magazine. It provides the adaptive tools available to serve various gardening purposes. You see here, including watering, cutting, reaching, gripping, carrying, and other assistive tools. And on the bottom, you see the source of this article. Feel free to email me if you're interested in reading this whole article. I'm happy to share. All right, moving on, this is an example of applying shade and shelter in improving accessibility in the gardens. In this serene setting of warrior and family support center therapeutic gardens in Texas, we can see this shaded pathway welcoming visitors to a place that they can relax and reflect some solitude. It's also a seamless transition from the indoor space to the healing garden that can reduce the exposure to wind, to sudden temperature and light changes. All right, let's talk about how to incorporate therapeutic features in the garden. We will start with selecting sensory elements. For sight, we can use a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes in your plant selection to create visual interest and contrast. Flowers with beautiful colors, bold foliage plants, and contrasting color schemes can stimulate visual senses. Also, man-made installations with different colors, sculptures, and benches, those can add visual interest too. For texture or touch, incorporate a diverse selection of plants with different textures to offer a tactile experience. Place those plants with easy reach along the pathways and in respect so that visitors can interact with them easily. For scent, choose aromatic plants like lavender, rosemary, we mentioned this, or scented flowers. Group them together to create scented zones within the garden. Also consider wind patterns to ensure the scents can be carried gently throughout the garden. For sound, we can incorporate elements like wind chimes, water features, and even the whisper of ornamental grasses. These sounds can create an auditory backdrop that's both calming and dynamic. It is very important to note here that when we're choosing sound, it can enhance the serenity of the place, but we don't want to overwhelm it. If the clients we serve include those who have heightened sensory awareness, sounds that might not be noticed by others can be irritating, such as those suffering from TBI or PTSD. The therapeutic garden should provide the opportunity for sound engagement without forcing individuals to interact. For taste, if safe for consumption, include edible plants that individuals can sample, but make sure that any edible plants should be clearly labeled to prevent accidental injection of poisonous plants. By engaging all 5 senses, the garden can provide a multi-dimensional experience that promotes relaxation, stimulates curiosity, and fosters a deeper connection to nature for individuals of all abilities. Here are a few real-world examples of the sensory richness of the therapeutic gardens. On the left here, we see a moment of connection at a hospital in Portland, Oregon. Here we see the lady in pink shirt. She's a recreational therapist, and she's gently guide her client to interact with the fragrant catmint. This plant releases a calming scent when you rub it or touch it. This middle picture here captures the pure joy of children as they run their hands through ornamental grasses. Texture and tactile stimuli in a garden can invite visitors to engage physically and mentally with the plants. On the right, soft foliage of lamb's ear invite people to touch. It's actually one of my favorite plants to touch. Very fun. And finally, the bottom picture shows the story of a visitor at a medical center in California, attracted by the tall bamboo and the life it supports. A well-designed garden can lift the eyes and the spirits, inviting visitors to look up and notice the layers of life that unfold in a vertical space. Anne's garden, it encapsulates the essence of a successful therapeutic garden, combines a rich variety of plant life with contrasting colors, shapes, textures, along with other sensory stimuli. We talked about pathways earlier. As you look at the pathways in the image, look at it, look, it's curvilinear, right? It invites the visitors to wander and explore, giving a sense of discovery. Also, notice the thoughtful placement of the benches throughout the garden, offering spaces for rest and reflection. They are not just places to sit, but also enable the view of the whole garden's beauty. Listen to the sound, engage with the sound, the rustle of the leaves, the wind, the tranquil sound of water. There's a water fountain in the middle here, and immerse oneself in the fragrance of the flowers and foliage. Enclosure is another element thoughtfully integrated into this garden. The arrangement of the plants from tall to low in terms of height and the structure creates a sense of privacy, allowing for peace and healing. Moving on, let's explore a serene and dynamic element in garden design: water features. Water is the essence of life, which is also a very critical component in a garden. It can provide a rich sensory experience. The interplay of light and shadow on water surfaces brings a visual appeal that can change from time to time. Adding waterfalls and fountains can create sounds that are both soothing and energizing. They sound can serve as natural white noise, distract users from the surroundings and focus on the presence of nature. Enjoy the garden. Cooling effect, it is as practical as pleasurable, especially on warm days. I'm in Texas, very hot, so it's super helpful when we have water features around. It can alter the microclimate of the garden for the comfort of its visitors. Moreover, water features can attract wildlife. the sound of birds bathing, insects skimming the water surface, and the potential for aquatic life all contribute to the garden's biodiversity and vitality. Water features help create ecosystem that not only delight human visitors, but also support local wildlife, enhancing the garden's role as a habitat. In this scene from Jupiter Medical Center in Florida, we can see a simple retention pond can be a significant feature for healing and serenity, offering the patients and visitors a restorative outlook, and also enjoy the gentle movement of water and the play of light on the surface. This is a picture of the combat stress garden for veterans undergoing rehab in UK. You see here we have custom benches specifically designed to reduce their fear that something might be hidden underneath, like a bomb or something. Still, we can see the still water feature here, reflecting the plants around the trees and the sky, and the water lily in the middle also add to the peace of the garden. Capturing the wind-driven features, they provide eye-catching movement and or sound when there's wind in the garden. If made of reflective materials, they can be particularly effective in capturing the sunlight. The wind chimes can be hung from a tree or a stand, pergola. They can add a layer of interest when they're moved by wind, and also can help deflect the background noise. These man-made installations are particularly valuable in the winter because there's less color and visual interest provided by plants and wildlife. Depending on the installation requirements of the feature, we can actually move where the wind chime is to vary users' views. Did I move too fast? Yes, okay. The last component of accessible garden design consideration is creating safe and welcoming environment. Let's talk about safety and security first. The risks of accidents are higher among special needs populations. Precautions against physical harm should be considered when we're planning a garden project. Provides privacy and some degree of enclosure is important, as people may need sensory-free, quieter places for solitude contemplation. Clear signage, very important too. We need to have signage with tactile elements like braille or wrist ladder to invite those with visual impairment to explore the garden. These signage should offer more than direction. They should describe the garden's layout, describe the plants, like the name, the origin, and the uses, informations like that, and explain the sensory experience it can offer. For example, it can have a sign saying touch me or smell me to encourage engagement. Lighting plays a crucial role in extending the garden's welcome beyond daylight hours. Ample lighting ensures safety for evening visits. Thoughtfully placed lights can illuminate pathways, highlight features, and create an ambiance that celebrates the garden's beauty at all times. The last section we will talk about is the steps of initiating and managing community garden projects. Initiating and managing garden projects requires a careful planning, coordination, and community engagement. Here's an outline of the strategic steps necessary for the successful creation and sustainability of a community garden, starting from need assessment and planning, securing resources and partnerships, site preparation and infrastructure development, garden programming and education, and then community engagement and outreach, sustainability and maintenance, and lastly, evaluation and reflection. Need assessment and planning. This is the groundwork of any community garden project. It involves engaging with the community to identify what they want from the garden, what purpose it will serve, and how it can be designed to meet the collective vision. Consider key environmental factors which will influence what can be grown and how the garden can be structured. Approximate close to residents is also important for accessibility and to encourage regular visits. The process also involves developing a comprehensive design that outlines the goals, objectives, and the anticipated benefits of the garden. A well thought out garden design layout considers both the aesthetics and the functionality. We need to bring together community members, stakeholders, and local organizations in the planning process. Their input is very important, providing diverse perspectives and ensure that the garden reflects the community's collective spirit. Securing resources and partnerships, very important logistical aspects of bringing a community garden to life. We need to identify potential funding sources such as grants, sponsorships, and donations that can support both the establishment and ongoing maintenance of the garden. This financial foundation is very essential for purchasing supplies, cover operational costs, and ensuring that the garden's longevity. We need to develop partnerships with local businesses, government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and educational institutions, which can not only provide the financial support, but also the materials and knowledge we need for building a garden. Engagement with broader community is also very important. Connecting with community groups, neighborhood associations, gardening clubs, we can build a network who can donate share the resources, donate their times and skills. Volunteers, they are the lifeblood of community gardens, can provide us with the hands-on labor that turns our plan into reality. In this picture here, we see the spirit of collaboration in this medical center in Oregon, where you have the medical center staff actively involved in the conception and fundraising of a new healing garden. Funding sources. Funding can come from a variety of sources. Here are just some common types of funding sources community garden projects can explore. Government grants, local, state, federal government agencies often provide grants for community and urban agriculture projects. For example, USDA, VA. Some city or county governments have specific funds allocated for community development. Nonprofit organizations, numerous environmental, educational, and community development organizations can offer grants to support community garden project. If we're planning for a therapeutic gardens, American Horticultural Therapy Association, National Garden Bureau's Therapeutic Garden Grant, and garden clubs can have fund for this type of projects. Corporate sponsorship, businesses, especially those with a focus on community relations or sustainability, might sponsor community gardens either through direct funding or donations of materials and supplies. Fundraising and donations, community garden can raise funds through events, campaigns, or direct appeals to local residents and business. In-kind donations such as tools, seeds, and other gardening materials are also helpful. Last but not least, partnership with educational institutions like us. Schools and universities sometimes partner with community gardens, provide funding, land, and research support in exchange for education opportunities for their students. Each one of these funding sources have different application processes and eligibility requirements. It's very important for those who are thinking to start a community garden to do thorough research on the options and prepare strong proposals or funding requests tailored to each founder's priorities and requirements. This picture here captures representatives from Wells Fargo presenting a generous donation of $50,000 to a memorial garden. Corporate sponsorship can play an important role in maintaining and enhancing community resources for garden projects. This is a garden at an assisted living facility in Seattle, Washington. It was designed and built by landscape architecture students at the University of Washington. The partnership with educational institutes and universities not only can provide students with the valuable hands-on experience, but offer significant cost savings for the facility. Very good example showing significant impact achieved through cooperative initiatives. This is an amusing hypothetical appeal for donations in a healthcare garden. Make a wish and donate. All right, site preparation and infrastructure development. Careful site preparation involves clearing any unwanted vegetation, testing soil quality to make sure we have a healthy environment for plant growth. Key infrastructure we mentioned earlier, such as raised beds. We need to have irrigation systems, compost bins, and fencing for protection if necessary. All needs to be carefully planned and installed. Ensure the garden's layout and design can accommodate all potential visitors of varying abilities to participate fully in the garden. We also need to think about adding education programs in the garden project, because a garden needs the nourishment of knowledge and the care of skilled hands. Both are very important. So develop a strong programming schedule that includes educational workshops and classes, informal gatherings such as cooking demos, community events. We can invite broader participation. These events can turn the garden into a lively center of communal life where we can share the joy of growing, cooking, and eating, and lots of fun about life. Ongoing support and training, very important to ensure that community members are well equipped to maintain the garden, which is also very important. We provide guidance on maintenance, gardening practices, and sustainable techniques. We empower the community to make the most out of the garden.
Dr. Wu, we did have a question come through. Do you have
Yes.
any suggestions of where to go for infrastructure design support for a garden?
I have a book that's listed in the reference that have detailed information step by step to build a garden. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, and if you don't mind at the end,
Uh,
just referencing that or pointing that out to us, and we'll make sure to take a
mm,
closer look at it.
Thank you. Is it a specific type of garden this person is asking? Because I have a couple resources focusing on different aspects of garden. One have chapters on different types of garden, where we need to think about where we can find resources for that type. And
This
mm,
particular garden would be a sensory garden.
oh, sensory garden. What I meant is like garden for children, garden for different populations, for elderlies, for veterans, that type. So sensory garden is, you can have sensory garden for different populations too. So yes, in my reference list, there are a couple books and articles and also magazines, if you're interested, all available that talk about what we can do and how we can do it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Community engagement and outreach. Engagement is the heartbeat of a community garden. We need to develop a comprehensive outreach strategy so that we can reach all corners of the community. We can use a variety of channels from flyers, brochures, and using local media outlets and all the social media platforms. The goal is to pick people's interest, spread the word, and invite the community to take part in this green endeavor. We also need to cultivate relationships through community meetings and volunteer workdays. These gatherings are more than just administrative or labor opportunities. They are a chance for community members to connect, share their ideas, and voice their visions for the garden. Outreach events also very pivotal in creating a sense of belonging and investment in the project. Lasting success lies in sustainability and maintenance. Establish a comprehensive sustainability plan that can outline clear strategies for long-term maintenance, funding, and community involvement. Create a garden community or steering group for overseeing operations, making decisions and addressing issues when they arise. This leadership body can become the garden's caretaker. Incorporating sustainable gardening practices is another key aspect. This includes composting, conserving water through efficient irrigation system, and selecting native plants that are adaptive to the local environment. These practices not only support the health of the garden, but also minimize its environment footprint and provide biodiversity. Finally, evaluation and reflection. Regularly evaluate the community garden project's progress, impact, and effectiveness in achieving its goal and the objectives. Gather feedback from participants, volunteers, and stakeholders using a variety of tools in, for example, survey, focus group, interviews, etc. Gather their voices, analyze the data, to identify the strengths, the challenges, and the areas for improvement, and adjust the project strategies, activities. Lastly, don't forget to celebrate successes, recognize contributions with the broader community to develop a sense of ownership. I hope the information shared today has enlightened you about the profound impact of therapeutic gardens, and how to start and manage a community garden project. Just like the tender sprout in this image, the seeds of our ideas require nurturing through collective efforts, care, and attention. Your involvement and your insights very important. They can contribute greatly to the growth and successful of our garden projects. Thank you all for being a part of this journey. Before I hand it over back to Rachel, I just thought about another resource that might be helpful for the garden project is you can reach out to your local extension office, their horticulture agents, master gardener program. For children than 4-H, they might be having, they have lots of resources that can help with gardening initiatives. Hope that helps. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Wu. Yeah, and just to reiterate what Dr. Wu said is really checking you with your state's cooperative extension agency and those out in your counties to see what are some resources that they can help, whether it's a master gardeners program or some sort of a horticulturist program within your counties, your states, and your counties that you're in. I appreciate the additional resources and references that Dr. Wu has posted in her PowerPoint slides. And if you missed anything, I have posted that link again to download today's slides, and any resources and event materials is on the event website. So please go there. There is a section on resources, and so go ahead and click on that. There is also a section for many of you that are interested on continuing education. And so today's presentation is offering several CEU or CE offerings, excuse me. So we have one CE credit from the American Association for Family and Consumer Sciences, as well as the National Council on Family Relations. We have social work CE credit. So even though it's University of Texas, Steve Hicks School of Social Work, you can there's all states that encompass that UT School of Social Work CE credits. And so you're able to receive that as well. In case managers that are on or patient advocates, we also are providing CEs for you as well. And then if any of you are just looking for a general certificate of attendance to provide to your supervisors, that is also an option. But there is a catch here. You do have to complete a survey. So you go to our CE website and you will click on a nice purple button with Continue Education. You're going to click on that. You'll be taken to a survey to complete. Once you complete that survey, you will identify which CE credit or certificate of attendance you are wanting, and follow any of those prompts to receive an automatically generated email certificate. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at oneopmilitarycaregiving@gmail.com, and I will help you with any tech issues that you may have. But we want to continue our conversation, and if we can, there we go. This is the slide that I wanted to get to. If we could, you could mark your calendar. Next month, we are hosting our annual estate planning webinar. For those of you that are wanting more information for yourselves or the families that you work with, mark your calendar for June 26th for our annual estate planning trusts and able accounts webinar. The webinar is really going to focus on special needs trusts, so that first party, third party, and pooled trust. We're going to dive into explaining each of those, and then also explore the use of able accounts as kind of an alternative to special needs trusts. So get connected. Coral has posted that link in the chat to register for next month's webinar on special needs trust and able accounts. If you are interested in any of our OneOp offerings, not just focusing on individuals' disabilities. We have lots of upcoming events as it relates to families, relationships, nutrition and wellness, personal finance. Connect with oneop.org for all of our upcoming events and educational resources for you, the provider, to better serve our military connected populations. If you have any questions, we are going to stay on for a few minutes. So if you have any questions for Dr. Wu or for our OneOp team, this is your time. We're going to open up to the floor to you. But Dr. Wu, thanks so much for a great presentation today and providing your expertise on gardening and sensory gardens and gardens for individuals with disabilities. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for all your attention and time participating in the discussion today. Is there a way I can go back to the reference slide so I can talk a little bit more about it? Yeah, so these are some articles and books I have read that talks about the ins and outs of developing therapeutic landscape, including therapeutic garden. You see this one here, designing, planning, and using the therapeutic garden. It's a really good one. And this one on the bottom, it talks specifically about horticulture therapy and gardens for veterans and active military personnel. A great book that I read last year. Yeah, and American Horticultural Therapy Association it has lots of really good resources on horticulture therapy programs and garden initiatives. It has magazines, webinars, journal articles. Whatever you like to read or watch, you have the options. Thank you. That's a little bit more information about resources. Oh, this one here. Sorry, ideas keep popping up. This book, Therapeutic Landscapes, is the one that I mentioned, talking about different types of therapeutic gardens for different populations, for people with Alzheimer's, for children, for veterans, military. It's characterized in different, it has multiple chapters. Each chapter is focusing on a different type of therapeutic garden. Yeah. Thank you all for your attention and time.
Thanks, Dr. Wu. We'll hang on for just a couple of more minutes for you to gather any last minute resources in the chat, any last minute questions or comments for us, and then we'll go ahead and close out. Thank you again for joining us today.
And thank you, Rachel. I just remembered we also have a article we published last year talking about various benefits of gardens for children. I believe it's also linked on our webpage, right? So if you're interested in
Yes.
Reading about that, how garden can benefit children with different disabilities.
Yes, it is linked. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
We had a question to please review how to get CEs again. If we can go to that slide real fast. So if you refresh the event website, the event page, there's going to be a section on continuing education. That continuing education, there's going to be a nice little purple button. You're going to click on that. You're going to be prompted to a survey. You'll complete the survey for today's webinar, and then you'll be asked as to which CE offering or certificate of attendance you are wanting to receive. And once you complete all of those prompts, you're going to receive an automatically generated email certificate. If you have any questions, my email is on here, oneopmilitarycaregiving@gmail.com. If you have any tech issues or have any issues receiving that automatically generated email certificate, reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way that I can with getting that to you. And again, all of this information is available on our event website for today. So any resources, any information on CE credits, copies of PowerPoint slides, articles that Dr. Wu has mentioned or referenced, you can find all of that information on our event page. All right, we have reached the top of the hour, so we are going to begin closing out. Thank you, everyone.